In this video, I'm going to be going over a couple different hair drying tips. Now, I have a cold and I've had a really bad cough for a couple of days, so I hope that I'm able to get through this video today and be able to finish it today and have it up for you tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Before I start talking about this, I actually want to show you something because sometimes I get comments, especially on Pinterest. People are not very nice on there about how my hair is not really 2B or whatever. It's not 3A or 2C or whatever ridiculous comment people want to make. But just so I can show you like the different variety of curl patterns that I have. I mean, here it's basically like 2B. Let me just pick it up. Right, so you can see here, it's very slightly wavy. And then I've got a couple of the pieces that have a little bit more curl and wave to them. And I've got the full-blown ringlets. But even just on this one piece, I mean, you can see here how it's really not a ringlet at the top. And then it just kind of forms on the bottom. So one head of hair, multiple curl patterns, totally normal. And I hate when people tell me what my hair is or isn't. Like, you don't know my hair. It just irritates me. But anyway, hair drying tips coming at you now. Okay, so rule number one for drying your hair, which you've probably heard many times. You've definitely heard it from me before, and I'm sure you've heard it from others. Don't touch your hair while it is drying. As soon as you have finished applying all your styling products and squishing it all in, once you've kind of moved your part, if you move it, or just let your hair fall wherever it's going to fall, you don't want to touch your hair at all until it is 100% dry. And I know this can be a little difficult. You know, it's okay if your hair's like in your face and you're just, you know, kind of gently moving it over like that. That's fine. But you don't want to be fussing with it and scrunching it up and, you know, finger coiling 10, 15, 20 minutes after you've applied your products. So you're just going to disrupt the curl pattern, you're going to break up the clumps, and you're going to cause a lot of frizz that you won't see until it's all dried. So don't do that. Another thing you can do, if you, like me, I have problems with like my hair sticking to my scalp, and I usually style upside down for that reason. But while my hair is drying, I tend to flip my part every, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. I'll just gently flip it over like this. Looks crazy. And then I let it dry for like 10, 20 minutes, then I flip it back, and I kind of just keep doing that back and forth just so that I get a little bit of lift on in my roots, and it's not just sitting flat in the same position the whole time. A little more volume, a little more lift there. You can also use clips for your roots. I do not use these because they don't work for me. I honestly don't know why I still have them. But the way it works is you clip your roots like this, for example, when it's wet, or you can clip them after you've diffused your hair when it's still kind of warm. And that method actually works better for me. I've tried that one and it's been more successful than clipping when my hair is wet. I find that when I clip with wet hair, it just makes a lot of kinks and it ends up falling flat. So I know when I've gotten a diva cut, they do this thing where they like put them together like that, and I have not been able to reproduce that on my own. So these clips have not helped me, but I know a lot of people use them and they work really well. These are the Diva clips from Diva Curl. I don't know if they still sell them because I remember looking for them recently and I couldn't find them online. So I do have another brand linked in my Amazon shop. I don't know if they're the exact same size, but they're the same style and the same concept of using them to clip your roots. Another thing, and this is really big for my hair, and it probably is a good idea for people with similar hair to mine, which is really fine, low density. Since my hair is easily weighed down and any little movement or touch or any disturbance just totally like dissolves my curl, one of the things that I do is I don't start diffusing my hair right away after I have finished styling. I usually wait about 15 to 30 minutes. And that allows for the bottom part of my hair, like the bottom half, to form a cast. So I get a cast in the ends, and that way when I start diffusing, I don't get those really wonky curls on the bottom. I tried diffusing right away after washing or after styling my hair, and I found a couple different things were happening. I was getting wonky curls, and I was not getting a cast, and I was getting a lot more frizz. And I figured out it's because since my hair is so delicate, diffusing it right away just kind of disturbed the curl pattern, and it just kind of, it didn't let them set in the right shape. So it was blowing them all over the place. I put the diffuser there and it would just blow in all these different directions, and so the curls didn't clump, and I was getting a lot of frizz. I had a little bit more volume, but it didn't really look that great. So wait at least 10 minutes, I say, and feel the ends of your hair. If there's no cast at the tips, wait a little more. So I usually give it a good 15 to 30 minutes. And then by the time I come in to diffuse my hair, I'll find that maybe I'll have, especially in here on the underside, a couple of curls that have maybe developed a little bit of frizz. All I do is get a little bit of water on my fingers, and then I just recoil them like this with some water, and then I go ahead and I start diffusing, and that eliminates the frizz that they had as it was air drying. That's if I diffuse. If not, I just re-wet it with some product if I'm going to air dry, and then that usually works. Now, when you're diffusing, again, like I said before, diffusing right away just doesn't work for me. Another thing is to hover diffuse before you start diffusing your ends. So what I mean by that is you're going to take a diffuser and obviously attach to the hairdryer, and you're going to flip over or to the side, doesn't really matter. So let's say I'm doing it like this. Take the diffuser and I'm just hovering around my root area, and then I flip to the other side and I hover all around here. I flip forward and hover back and hover like that. So I do that for a couple of minutes before I go ahead and then start putting the ends in. And I always do like a little section at a time, make sure that it falls in correctly, push it up to my scalp, and then I hold it there for like 30 seconds or so, and just repeat that going all the way around. But you want to make sure that your ends have a cast. Like I said, wait a few minutes. And if you want a little bit more volume in your roots and a little bit of curl definition, it helps if you do the hover diffusing, so that you actually get a cast forming in your scalp area as well from the little bit of product that's up there, and that's going to help with that. Okay, the next thing is you can try different kinds of plopping. In the beginning, I tried plopping with different materials, like a t-shirt, what's it called? A satin cloth scarf, that's the word, a satin scarf. I tried with different hair towels, microfiber towel. Ultimately, my personal favorite is using a flour sack towel, and I have this one from Raw Curls that I got because it came with a purchase that I made a couple years ago, but you can use flour sack kitchen towels. Just make sure you get the big ones. This one's really big. For me, the microfiber towels I started noticing were giving me a little more frizz because they were just absorbing too much water. These are just the right amount, so I like to use this. And then what I found is that I really prefer micro plopping, which is where I take the hair into the towel and then I squish it on my scalp, and I repeat that process all over my head a couple of times instead of piling all of my hair on top of my head and then wrapping the towel around and doing that whole like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours plopping that a lot of people do. My hair is too fine, too thin, very low density. That's a big disaster. What happens is the product falls on my root area, flattens this whole area out, and then I get really wonky curls because they're just not sitting in their natural pattern. So plopping did not work for me, so micro plopping works well. So I suggest that you experiment with the different methods and see which one works well for you and which one gives you the nicest curls. Took me a while to figure that out, so don't expect the first time you try something that it works great. Okay, and my last tip, which is one that has made a big difference as far as how long my hair lasts, how long my style lasts, is styling my hair at night. And the reason is because I usually do it in the evening, so I'll shower around 7 or 8, and that means that my hair is styled and completely dry by 9 p.m. I don't go to bed until around 11:30, so for me that works because that's about 2.5 hours for my hair to just set. If you go to bed earlier, then you're going to have to wash your hair even earlier than that. And make sure it works so you can, like, as soon as you get home from work, wash your hair, dry it, and then you've got all that time until bedtime. The reason this works is because all that time that you're inside, your hair is not really being disrupted by the elements like weather, wind, rain. You're not really fussing with it. You're not moving around a lot, like when you're walking around at work or just doing your day-to-day things. So your hair has a lot of time to really set. So for example, if I wash my hair in the morning and then I wait about an hour or so and I have to go out, what happens is later on in the day I notice a lot of frizz in my hair because I didn't give my hair enough time to set. So that whole waiting a couple of hours, going to bed so that it doesn't get smushed, and then that whole nighttime really allows my hair to set. And I think that's a big problem that a lot of people have. You know, your hair looks great right after you style, and then you go out for work, and then by the end of the day, it's flat, it's frizzy, it's falling apart. It didn't have a chance to set. So I know that this is probably difficult though for some people who struggle with sleeping with their hair. Like they're, you know, just when you wake up, your hair just looks a big mess compared to the day before. I can understand that because I used to have that problem in the beginning, but doing all my nighttime routine, I'll post a video here for you to watch of wearing a buff and using a silk pillowcase and making sure that my hair is 100% dry and it has been dried for at least an hour. That really allows my hair to not get disturbed overnight, and it holds its style so that the next day when I do go out to work or go out, you know, and do things, my hair isn't going to be as vulnerable as it is on wash day. You know, wash day, everybody says it is like crucial. It's the most crucial time because however your hair is at the end of wash day is how it's going to look for the next couple of days. And it just gets kind of worse every day for the most part. I mean, you might have a better day two. Some people do. I have better day two hair than I have wash day hair. You know, on wash day, I just have fluffier hair. It's not as, like, it just hasn't really settled into its shape. So I think it's really important for you to try to do your hair at a time where you can let it settle for at least a couple of hours before you have to leave the house. So if you can do it like in the evening, then that's great. If you can't, then I don't know. Yeah, that's one of my biggest tips, and I think it really makes a big difference for my hair type. But I don't know, if you have thicker, curlier hair, maybe it will help you too. Giving your hair all that time to settle into its style so that it'll last a little bit longer. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done to get my hair to last a couple of days and just look good, not only right after washing. So I suggest you try to give that one a try out and see how it goes. Let me know if you try it in the comments, if it helps. All right, so those are my tips for drying your hair. If you're new to the Curly Girl method, don't forget to check out my free resources. I have a couple of curly hair downloads, like your guide to weather styling according to dew points, if it's humid outside, if it's cold outside, what kinds of products should you use. I have a beginner's guide to the Curly Girl method if you are new to all of this. I have a guide to ingredients where it has all the ingredients you should avoid and what's okay. So you can check that out. I will link to it below. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you try any of these tips, if they help you. If you like this video and you want more content on clean beauty and curly hair, then please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.